Sup guys, Beyond here. I'm re-recording this for like the fourth time now because my mic is fucking up. Wowhead is releasing new stuff. It's just a shitfest, honestly, but I'm finally here. We have some 9.1.5 PTR notes. There's some class tuning in there, but most importantly, there's a ton of catch-up changes and some Torias changes that are actually going to be really nice for 9.1.5, I think. So stay with me here, guys. We're going to go through the notes and discuss them. So first of all, we have the talent changes, right? Some class tuning. You can read these yourself if you want to. There's not really any like major change here, mostly just buffing some bad talents. So if you're really interested, I'll leave the link in the description. Otherwise, nothing too interesting there. Then we have the Redeemed Souls quests working within Torghast now, which is a good quality of life change, right? We probably all wanted this to be the case at one time or another. Then we get to the actual good stuff. We have some items and rewards changes, and the first one is an increased drop chance of shards of domination, which is not going to matter on your mains, right? But rolling up there on alt, clearing the raid for the first time, getting a couple of actual shards that you can use, a full set, is actually going to be really nice compared to just getting like 4 or 5 random shards that you can't do shit with. So I really hope this is a significant increase in the drop rate, so you actually like you should almost be guaranteed to just get a full set, in my opinion, on the first week if you full clear it. Then we have a significant increase in the amount of soul cinders awarded from Torghast, from Mausalts, from Tormentors, and from Quantum missions. So just a really nice overall soul cinder buff. It has been confirmed now. It's 100% increased. They might change it later, of course, but right now it's 100% increased soul cinders, and yeah, it's just something that frankly needed to happen. They did this in 9.0 well with Soul Ash, right? And it just takes way too long to get a 262 Lego right now. But with this change, it's going to be a lot better. And if you combine it with these two notes down here, it's actually really nice. So repeatedly completing wings now awards the full amount of Soul Ash, and repeatedly completing Wings of Torghast now awards the full amount of Soul Cinders. So you can just infinitely farm Soul Cinders. You're gonna get no diminishing returns. You can just fucking go in there and grind out legendaries to your heart's content. This is what people have been asking for so long now, right? And it's finally here. I honestly didn't expect Blizzard to ever budge on this, but they have finally. It's not gonna matter like immensely for your power level of your alt or anything, but it's just such a mental gain to actually know that you can hit 200 eye level on your alt and go in and get a 262 Lego in like an hour if you want to. A great change, Blizzard. And along with that, I thought we would also take a look at just the actual values, right? We have 100% buff to pretty much everything here, except on the actual layers of Torghast, where they have been smarter than that. They have buffed the low layers very, very much. So layer 8 is almost 4 times as much. Layer 9 is like 3 times as much, right? They have buffed these quite a lot. So if you're a low geared alt, you can actually earn your 262 Lego fairly quickly just by doing like layer 9, layer 10 a couple of times over and over again. Great change again. And you also have to keep in mind that in 9.1.5 the covenants are being changed. You can now switch between them freely. So you're actually gonna need a whole lot of new Legos in 9.1.5 if you want to craft all those new Covenant Legos, maybe some other Legos from other specs that you can now try out because you can switch Covenant, right? So probably gonna need a whole lot of new Legos in 9.1.5, which is also another reason why these changes are so good. And repeatedly completing wings now awarding full amount of Soul Ash might seem a little bit trivial now, maybe, but you've also got to consider that Soul Ash is probably what you're gonna spend most anyway, right? Soul Ash is just a way more useful currency than Soul Cinders because those 235 items, they don't cost as much as the 262 items. So if you're just looking for like off-spec Legos, it might still be better to just craft them 235 every time. And you also need Soul Ash for the big Legos. So actually getting full amount of Soul Ash is like as good of a change as getting full amount of Soul Cinders, almost, in my opinion at least. So yeah, really good changes, Blizzard. They do understand that we are gonna need some new legendaries. And something else I would like to comment on real quick is just how many runs it would take you to get a full Lego, right? So we have 5 layer 12 runs for a 262 Lego. We have 7 layer 10 runs or 10 layer 8 runs. So if you just speed run 5 quick layer 10 runs, just go through it, don't care about your score or anything, then it will actually be really quick to get a 262 Lego. And the last thing here, since layer 12 drops 350 soul cinders and it's just farmable indefinitely, right? Then suddenly the tormentors, the maw assaults, they kind of lose a little bit of their value. I honestly wouldn't mind to see like tormentors and maw assaults go up to maybe 200, 300 soul cinders a pop. Okay, maybe not for the tormentors, but just incentivizing people to do these a little bit more can be really nice, since the by far best way to earn a Lego now will probably just be to rerun Torghast Wings over and over again. I think these could use a little bit of incentive. Okay, if we go back to the original post here, we can see that there were some more catch-up changes in this section here. We have a 40 renown token that you can purchase at renown 80 and send to an alt, and that alt will instantly gain renown 40. The renown catch-up was already pretty good, so I wouldn't say this is a massive quality of life change, but it is going to be pretty huge on your alt, just instantly getting all the rewards for round 40, and it's just going to speed up that initial gearing journey a whole lot. You're going to have a lot more soul binds, you're going to have a lot more stamina, you're going to have a lot more stuff going into your gearing journey. So another nice change by Blizzard. Players can now purchase versions of Corthian Armaments that create a piece of gear for specific slots. This is another huge change, because how you would gear right now in 9.1, I have a gearing guide up there somewhere as well if you want to check it out. You would just basically buy some auction house blues, and then you would fill out your slot with Corthian Armaments. But now, since these are actually slot specific, then you could buy like a Corthian weapon, a Corthian trinket, you could even maybe upgrade it. You don't have to spend as much Stygia, you don't have to spend as much resources on them. And a change that would go wonderfully with this change, in my opinion, would be if Blizzard made those archivist tomes that the codex sells at like tier 5, tier 6, that allows your Corthia gear to get upgraded to 226 and 233 respectively. If they made those tomes account-wide on the reputation, then you would actually have an incentive to get Corthia gear in your alts and to actually upgrade it now. Because if you have specific slots and you can upgrade it to 233, then it's actually going to be really, really good alt catch-up gear. I really hope Blizzard make this change. Otherwise, Corthia gear is just kind of useless, because no one is ever going to farm tier 6 on an alt just to get 233 gear, and 233 gear is never going to be useful for anyone's mains at this point. So Corthia gear is just in a weird state right now, where it's only kind of useful at those very first days of capping. And I think Blizzard could change that if they made this change. So I'm still hopeful, although I don't think it's going to happen necessarily. Acquire Tagoshi in the Hall of Curiosities now sells a gateway control chart that lets you activate the nearest demonic gateway. Just a warlock portal button basically is what this is. So you don't have to click it anymore, so you don't have to use the macro anymore, because both clicking it and using the macro were kind of unreliable in different ways, right? Now you'll just have an item, you'll be able to click it, keybind it, and you'll always take the nearest demonic gateway. It's a great change for raiding, just mythic progression. It's going to be very helpful in Sylvanas. Good change, Blizzard. I like that they're paying attention to this minute stuff. Maybe isn't so obvious. We already covered the Torghast stuff, and then we have one little last change at the end here. The group finder is getting a change in which group creators are now able to browse listings while they have a group active. And this was one of the huge problems with the group finder before, right? You queued up for a group, but you couldn't make your own groups in the meantime, so you were just sitting there queuing, getting declined, while you would think to yourself, damn, if I just had a group up simultaneously right now, maybe people would apply for my group instead. And the other way around, right? If you have a group up, you constantly feel like you're missing out because you can't apply for stuff. This is going to make this a lot better. So another good change for Blizzard. I hope they continue to improve the group finder, because the pug community is, after all, probably the biggest community in WoW, and it is a really awful experience pugging right now. Alright guys, that was the changes for patch 9.1.5 so far. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you liked some of these Soul Ash and Soul Cinder changes, even though I understand that there can still be more done in terms of alt catch-up, right? We could get some gearing benefits, the Corthia stuff that I talked about, and all that shit. So keep giving Blizzard feedback, guys. keep staying hopeful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.